From the floor of the CME Group, this is Danny Riley on this Thursday, September 9th. What we're looking at right now in the video is a snapshot of the S&P roll. That's the SEP-DC S&P roll, the big roll. Now, coming in this morning, there was about 279,000 contracts to be rolled. And right now, what we're looking into the pit. We're seeing one broker, his name's Mark Say. He's kind of facing us in the white coat. And then there's a female broker, Tia. She's the Goldman Sachs broker that fills all the S&P rolls. Now, as we further this a little bit, we want to talk about the rollover in general, and then Tim will come in with the technical side. This morning when we came in, we had extremely low Globex volumes. When we looked at the ESZ, that's the front month DC S&P Mini, there was only about 86,000 minis traded. And then when you take out the S&P roll, the ESU, the ESZ spread, that's the mini S&P spread, there's about 85,000 contracts traded. So I think that, well, it was like 65,000 traded pre-open, and then, I'm sorry, 85,000 traded pre-open, then 65,000 spreads. So we've got about 145, 150,000 minis traded there. And when you take those volumes out of the current volumes of about 550,000 ESZs, that's the DC Mini, we've only got about 350,000 traded in the outrights. That's an extremely low number. And what we've been telling everybody on the IM is that one, it makes it very, very difficult to trade this today, and two, the ranges would be very, very small, and that's exactly what we've got so far. And what we've been telling people is to stay away from it. Right now, it's just too hard to trade. As we said in the video yesterday, people are concentrating on rolling positions, not adding positions. Now, I'm going to talk about one other little thing, and then we'll let Tim jump in. The Pitbull taught us a trading rule back many, many years ago. And as we've spoken about the Pitbull many times, he's one of the guys that mentored me as I was going up from the bonds to the S&Ps. And what it is that there's a trading rule here, and it's called looking for a low the Thursday or Friday, the week before expiration. Well, today is that day. Now, we've got to kind of take this a little carefully because, yes, while we are looking toward higher prices, we also have to take into account that the S&P is up almost 65 handles from its 4280 low. This is a lot of wood chopping higher, and we don't want to go berserk because we know that there's been a lot of false starts in the S&P, and our game plan yesterday on the video was that what the S&P had to do was kind of stay around the 1100 level, back and fill for a few days before we thought it would go higher. It gapped higher today. So again, the rule that we're looking for today is we're looking for a low today, the Thursday or the Friday, the week before expiration, and that expiration being the SEP expiration. I'll let Tim take it from here.
Tim here from Top Notch Trading. That was a nice introduction Danny gave to those people that do the spreads, and I know a lot of those people, and I actually talked to them, and as much as they're the brokers that do the spreads, there's nothing spreading in that big contract right now. A lot of the spreads are being done on the machine. It's getting to be a sad day for these guys because a lot of the livelihood is dependent on the big outright contracts being spread for them. So hopefully in the next week, when we see expiration by Friday, business picks up for those guys. But now let's cut to the chase. Yesterday I make a statement. 11-11-20 in that September contract in the S&P. Well, I come in this morning, and what does that contract do? 11-10 half to 11-11 half on an open. Stop cold. Sold off. But they only sold off by about 4 or 5, 6 handles sell off in the NASDAQ, not the NASDAQ, the December contract, because I'm a little confused. But what I did was, between the DC and September contract, since half the year was about 400 points in the difference of the future, I made 0720 the key price objective today in the S&P, and lo and behold, that future opened up at 06 even, 06 half. They opened on their highs, never saw the light of day. They got down to 11 even half right now, 6 handles. The bonds have been deteriorating all day, also on the news. But right now I was looking for 131.01 in the bonds, and if they can catch a bid back above 08 to 10, 131.08 to 131.10, I really think that this high is going to hold for the time being. Because overall, the fundamental flavor of this move is taking over the S&P move, and I can't stand that fundamental flavor. But fundamentally, they can chew you up and spit you out on the technical note. And that's a scary thought. So I'm a little bit concerned right now because this move, like Danny says, 60 handles, closer to 70 handles, and it's way too fast and way too furious. If this market wants to stay healthy and achieve higher ground, it needs to be retraced. And a healthy retracement would be good for the next move higher. But if they keep going at this rate, all they're going to do is set you up. We're going to be long and fat, and that's when they pull out the rug. And guess what? You're long and fat, now you're slaughtered. Your guts are laying all over the place because on a technical note, you need retracement before a further extension higher. I haven't seen any. I don't like what's going on. We got another week for expiration, and I want to see what happens because like I said yesterday, I'm looking to the end of next week, and then I'm going to cut the knife and take these things lower. We'll see what happens until then, but today's just another day. I do like the highs so far, so we'll see you tomorrow.